Yeah, it's always been my experience that Q4 is absolutely client signing season. Like I've been gearing up for it. I've been so excited. I'm like, guys, let's go. November specifically is the absolute best month of the year to land clients, like hands down.
I've been coaching copywriters, I think almost as many years as you. And a lot of the data that I've gathered over the years has told me that copywriters tend to struggle towards the end of the year to close copywriting clients. On the other hand, your data is telling me, and you told me the other day on Facebook, that this is the best time of the year to close copywriting clients.
The main reason why I think November is actually the best time to get clients, about 70% of all ad spend in the whole year is spent in Q4. And what tends to happen throughout Black Friday, it's people have a lot of deliverability problems when it comes to that's a major force at play. And the reason why I think that's such a tremendous advantage is...
Yeah, it's good. I like it a lot. It's interesting.
So that's why I'm not a fan of the spray and pray strategy that like a lot of other programs teach. Just fire out, 100 cold DMs a day and eventually you'll land a client. It's like, sure, you will. Volume works. But it's not the most efficient approach. If only 3 out of 100 are interested, your maximum success rate is 3%. So I'm like, what if we just totally flip that and we only reach out to the 3% of people who we actually know are looking to buy? I call the strategy reverse outreach. As long as Christmas is a thing and Black Friday is a thing, it's gonna happen. And it literally works so well during that Black Friday that we just kept doing it year round because it actually still worked better than anything else in terms of just like cold pitching and that sort of thing. It just works twice as well during Black Friday.
I think most business owners, it's like there's a FOMO to it too, because there's a very short time frame for them to fix this. It's like, we need to get these sales right now because the deadline is next week. We're gonna lose hundreds of thousands of dollars or something. And I think most copywriters, they jump on trends too late. Have you noticed that as well?
Yeah, for sure.
So if you don't do this, then I think you might not be getting any clients. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, the copy coach that shows copywriters how to close all the best clients in the world, Sean Ferres.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, nice to see you too, dude.
5 months since our last interview, and I'm
That's
ready
right.
to go. I'm ready for the cage match.
Yes, so we've got something special. We got something special happening. For the longest time, I've been coaching copywriters. I think almost as many years as you, and a lot of the data that I've gathered over the years has told me that copywriters tend to struggle towards the end of the year to close copywriting clients. On the other hand, you've coached like thousands of copywriters. You've helped copywriters, like 82 copywriters hit 6 figures. You've helped copywriters close hundreds of deals and the biggest clients in the industry. I mean, you mentioned before this, I didn't know you helped them close like Netflix, Walmart, other big brands as well. And what did you say? Like over $1 billion, your copywriting clients, your copywriting mentees, they've closed they've helped businesses make over $1 billion for their clients as well, right? So
in sales, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, in sales, right? So, we both have really good data sets, and your data is telling me, and you told me the other day on Facebook, which kind of sparked this interview, that this is the best time of the year to close copywriting clients. So I like that. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't experience it that way. So let's have that debate and let's see what happens. I'm very curious to see how this goes.
100%. Yeah, it's always been my experience that Q4 is absolutely client signing season. Like I've been gearing up for it. I've been so excited. I'm like, guys, let's go. October's coming. October, like get ready. November's nearly here. And I think November specifically is the absolute best month of the year to land clients, like hands down. At least the approach that we take. So it might be down to our particular approach. And I'm happy to get into that and share what we do. But yeah, I'm curious as to like why you think it's not a good time to sign clients. And then maybe I can tell you my perspective on why I think it's a phenomenal time to sign clients.
Yeah, so for me, I think the reason that we've experienced that with my private clients is that many businesses are not actively hiring at the same, the same way that they usually do. Like the job boards seem to go down a little bit in terms of people hiring. Many businesses seem to already be quite busy with their promotional calendar. They're busy preparing for Black Friday and they've got a lot of other work on their plate. And, one can only assume maybe it's because as well that they don't want to necessarily bring on a guy that's going to be a risk to the business during the most important time of the year, And so I think that many of the client acquisition strategies that, I've helped my copywriting clients, get good at, maybe they're just not tailored towards what business owners are looking for at this time of the year. So that's what seems to be, from a brief conversation, the fact that you focus on helping, you tell your copywriters, do these things for businesses, make these kinds of pitches. Maybe that's a big part of why it's working, is because you're hitting them where it's relevant. You're talking to them about stuff that's relevant. Whereas a lot of the time, if you go into a business and you just kind of offer the general service, maybe they're not going to be as interested at this time of the year.
Yeah, for sure. And as you pointed out, Q4, it's where some of the most important marketing activities of the whole year happen. There's a stack of events that are in the same 30-day period. We have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, holiday season, Christmas. There's just sales on sales on sales happening, which ultimately means tons more in ad spend, a lot more emails going out, a lot more promotions going out. Of course, if you have ads and emails, you need funnels that go with them. So there's sales pages that need to be built, VSLs and all that sort of thing, advertorials, the whole shebang, right? And so there's such an enormous need for copy at this time, which you could argue the smarter business owners should already have those people in place and have those funnels and everything already built out before it gets to this time, which you would hope they do. But a lot of them have either left it too late, or there's like specific problems that they encounter where they are now acting reactively instead of proactively to fix those specific problems which come up. So there's kind of a predictable problem, which is Q4 inflation. So I'll talk to the two mechanisms that I believe create a surge in demand for copywriters, given the main strategies that we teach. So the first one, as of literally 2 weeks ago, we now teach ads as well as just emails, which is exciting. Waited like 7 years to finally teach ads. Reason being is because I think there's a holy trifecta at the moment, which is creating an extreme need for more ad copywriters than ever. Mario Castelli, I was actually talking with him about this the other day. He's running a AI ads workshop. I literally ran an AI ads workshop 2 weeks ago. I was like, man, great minds think alike. So the forces that are at play at the moment, number one, we just had the Meta Andromeda update come out back in July, which completely shifted the way that the Facebook, Meta, should I say, algorithm retrieves and distributes ads across its network. And so what this basically means now, long story short, is there is a significantly higher need for creative diversity and a lot more ads that you need to run and test in order to squeeze the most out of your budget. Which essentially comes down to the fact that the algorithm has gotten so scarily good at knowing exactly who to show your ad to because of the amount of data they have on everyone, right? They have something like 52,000 data points on the average user. So that means like, for example, your name is one data point, your age is one data point, your location is one. They have 52,000 of those. You can imagine, our phones are sitting here and listening to our conversations right now, and that's being scanned and filtered through AI and handed off to Facebook. There's all sorts of underhanded deals that are happening. Every message that you send, every person you hang out with, it knows it all. In fact, there was even a patent like 10 years ago that Facebook filed in 2014. It's called like the emotional manipulation and detection algorithm or something, where basically like as you're sitting there scrolling Facebook, it can even detect your facial expressions and how you react to the content that's put in front of you. Like that's how much it knows about you, right? Anyway, so I digress. The point of all that is that's element number one. Second element is Q4 inflation, where this happens every single year as every e-com brand and their nan and their dog rush to run ads for the holidays. Obviously, that means ad prices for everyone go up. And I think I read something about 70% of all ad spend in the whole year is spent in Q4. So that's how much inflation there is. Everyone's ad costs go through the roof, especially in December. And that really kicks off from about next week, around mid-November, as people start pushing ads for Black Friday. I feel like Black Friday gets earlier and earlier every year as people basically try and run their sale before everyone else so they can take people's money before they've spent it, right? So it's kind of like Black Friday is now like the whole of November pretty much. That's factor number two. And then the third factor with regards to ads is the fact that AI videos got so good now where it's actually believable. It doesn't look like slop anymore where it's just like, gimmicky shit. There are legit AI avatars that you would not be able to distinguish from a real person. Via models like Sora 2, VO3, and so on, ARC ads, that sort of thing. Influencers and UGC ads that are like a literal person who doesn't exist, putting on makeup, trying on a dress. You would have absolutely no clue it's AI. So between the three of those forces, that basically means we are now required to run a ton more ads, required to test a lot more ads, and we're able to actually test a lot more ads much more quickly because of AI tools. And so that means we've seen just a dramatic increase in the amount of people who are hiring ad copywriters specifically. Not just copywriters, but like more so creative strategists, I guess. People understand really the whole game. So as you would talk about as well, I think the roles evolved past just copywriting, right? It's like more so businesses are looking for your growth partners, creative strategists, people who really understand the whole sort of 360 view of what it takes to grow and scale a campaign, right? That's something you've been seeing a lot of.
Yeah, I've been seeing the same thing, right? With the creative strategy sort of job descriptions that everybody's been posting about. Is like, oh, we need a creative strategist. We don't need a copywriter. We're looking for creative strategy. We're looking for, creative. It's become, creative has become the word that people use more than copy, and I think it's good. I think it's really good. I think it weeds out a lot of people that don't want to skill up. I think it also gives us more opportunity to charge more anyway as copywriters and marketers, because you're adding more value to the business than just providing the words. You're actually, you have some involvement in the direction of how the video production is actually done as well, right? And you're not only doing that, you're also looking at the data and making decisions for the business on how they can, create better performing, creative. So I love it. I think it's really good. I think a lot of copywriters know. What I will say is a lot of copywriters, they're not quite sure how they should approach this. Like, what if I don't have experience? What if I don't have experience? I've never done creative strategy. I've never heard that word. I've never called myself that. Is that a thing? And should I be going for creative strategy gigs? And if I should, where should I be going for creative strategy gigs? And also, which kind of businesses are hiring for this kind of thing? And I think a lot of these kinds of questions are starting to come up over the last few months. I think a lot of copywriters are wondering these questions. So, I mean, do you have some thoughts on that, on how to kind of position yourself, and also how to take advantage of what's happening right now in Q4?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll talk the client getting stuff in a sec. I wanted to talk about the second major force at play, which is the main reason why I think November is actually the best time to get clients. So I mentioned before, there's proactive and reactive events that are happening throughout November. The proactive one, the predictable one, is Q4 inflation, where ad prices go up. That happens every single year. If you're an advertiser and you don't know that, you shouldn't be you shouldn't be advertising. Everyone knows to expect it. Everyone knows it's coming. As long as Christmas is a thing and Black Friday is a thing, it's going to happen. So that's the first one. The other one, though, that catches people like a right hook, like blindsides them, and that they don't necessarily see coming, is what tends to happen throughout Black Friday. It's people have a lot of deliverability problems when it comes to their emails. So I know you know this, I'm just explaining to the audience. So
yeah, sure. Yeah, go for it. It's interesting.
Basically, as a result of Black Friday, there's a lot of scammers who jump in and try and pretend to be real businesses and scam people, right? So Gmail is in a bit of a difficult position, because when I say Gmail, I'm referring to all email providers, Outlook, Yahoo, and so on. I'm just going to say Gmail because they're the biggest. So Gmail basically has to protect its users against these scammers, because that's kind of their job, right? But on the other hand, that results in a lot of legitimate businesses going to spam and promotions, because what Gmail does is they tighten their spam filters to make it essentially harder to inbox, harder to land in the primary inbox, and that results in a lot of legit businesses going to promotions or even spam. Last year was the worst we've ever had it, because we had Black Friday and the election at the same time. And I think there was like some third world global event or something, some terrorist shit. I can't remember. But basically it was like just carnage last year. It was literally like people calling it like Promageddon, all sorts of shit. And I was like, it was like,
I remember. Yeah, I remember that.
It was chaos, dude. Every tier one marketer, who I normally lands in my primary, Alex Hormozi, Sabri Subi, like all these people landing in promo, some of them even spam. If Frank Kern was in my spam, like shit was going crazy. I felt like the last man standing. It was like me, Troy Erickson, and Daniel Throssell were like the only people still landing in my primary. I was like, where is everyone? And so this year's not as bad. There's no election, but we still have the Black Friday effect. And I think it's something that most businesses don't plan for. They don't really realize happens potentially. They just don't know a lot about deliverability in general. Most people think it's like this sort of dark art that's just like out of their control, So that's a major force at play. And the reason why I think that's such a tremendous advantage for us as copywriters is if you know the basics of deliverability, which once you know what you're doing, it's really not that complicated. There's some technical aspects like DNS records and whatnot, domain reputation, IP reputation. And once you know what to look for, what you're doing, you can learn how to fix it pretty easily. And so one of the core strategies, it's funny, like this strategy was born kind of by accident 2 Black Fridays ago. So in 2023, I had an idea and I was like, so I know in November, everyone's going to like spam and promo and they're freaking out. right? Because for a lot of businesses, you know the reason it's actually called Black Friday, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Allegedly. I don't know. There might be a myth, but to my understanding anyway. For a lot of businesses, it's the first time in the year that their books are in the black, right? So, AKA they're making money and not in the red, AKA losing money. So this used to be way more of a deal pre-internet, but there were businesses like retail stores who literally would break even for 10 months of the year. So from January until October, they would just break even, and they would make all their profit for the year in November and December during the holiday seasons. People buy gifts and clothes and all this stuff. So Black Friday was a tremendous deal to these businesses. Like, they needed Black Friday to live. And if they missed that 6-week window, they're cooked. Like, they were done.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting.
it's not as big of a deal today because we live in the modern day age with ads and organic and internet. But it's still a pretty big deal for a lot of businesses. They make an enormous amount of their profit as a percentage of the year during this time, especially for e-com brands and stuff like that. If you're in the high ticket coaching business, then like, who gives a fuck? But like, for the rest of the more normal businesses, direct to consumer brands, that sort of thing, it's a big deal for them. And so we have these businesses expecting and relying on making a lot of money during Black Friday, like really depending on it. And then we have the deliverability force, which is, if they don't know what they're doing, can end up meaning they land in spam and promo. So they're expecting to make a ton, and then they're obviously extremely disappointed if they find out their emails are going to spam. It's like, we were really banking on making a lot this Black Friday, and now our plans are thwarted, right? So they're in extreme panic mode is what I'm trying to say. And if you come riding in on your white horse, you can come in and save the day, and you can be like, hey, I noticed you're going to spam. Would you like some help with that? And you don't really have to sell them very hard, because it's like they're already in extreme pain, and they're actively seeking solutions. And so you're literally just selling to existing in-market demographic people, like now buyers, right? It's kind of like...
Sorry, I want to just quickly jump in. It's like, there's a FOMO to it too, because there's a very short time frame for them to fix this. It's not like the rest of the year where it's like, oh, we're in spam, we'll figure it out. Right now we're busy fixing our webinar or whatever. It's like, we need to get these sales right now because the deadline is next week. If we don't get into primary right now, we're going to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars or something. Yeah, it's good. That's I like it a lot. It's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So I had the idea 2 years ago. I was like, I know this effect happens every year. So I said to all my students, I was like, what if you guys just go and sign up for a crap load of email lists, like as many email lists as you possibly can in October. So you're just signed up to like 3,000 lists, like go sign up to 100 lists a day. And the way we do that typically is we go through Facebook Ads Library or Meta Ads Library, or we'll use a Chrome extension, for example, My Ad Finder, Turbo Ad Finder, which essentially just only displays ads in your feed, and then you can add them all to a folder. And the reason we go after people who are running ads is because, number one, it kind of just filters out a lot of low quality businesses. If they're running ads, it means they're serious about growth, they're serious about marketing, they obviously have a business model that's profitable, and they have an email list. If they're running ads, like 99% chance they have an email list. So, plus email is kind of like the profit center of business, of ads, right? Like, it's designed to make up for a lot of the LTV and the front end sales that were missed from ads. So anyway, point being, go and sign up for a crap load of lists, and then you basically just camp out and wait until November hits, right? Until it's somewhere around like mid-November. Gmail obviously is not public about the data, or everyone would like avoid the day and whatever. But so whenever it hits, the Spamageddon, kicks in, Promageddon, whatever, and a lot of people start landing in spam. And so basically you let Gmail act as the filter for you. So if you think about any given market, right, normally there's about like 3% of people in any market. There's done like so many studies on this in various industries. They basically found about 3% of any market is in now buyer mode. We can call these people like the in-market demographic. Essentially, they have a problem that they're looking to solve now, and they're looking for a solution. And then that means there's varying ranges. Some say 7%, up to 30%, whatever, are basically later buyers. They're going to buy at some point 90 days or later. And obviously, there's like 50% of people, 60% of people are never buyers. They're just tire kickers. They're not actually going to buy anything from anyone. So that's why I'm not a fan of like the spray and pray strategy that like a lot of other programs teach, where they're just like, just fire out, 100 cold DMs a day, and eventually someone, you'll land a client. It's like, sure, you will, volume works, but it's not the most efficient approach. If only 3 out of 100 are interested, that's like your maximum success rate is 3%. So I'm like, what if we just totally flip that and we only reach out to the 3% of people who we actually know are looking to buy? It'd be the same strategy as like a job board, for example, right? If you're reaching out to people on job board, obviously you know they're looking to hire. So it's like a similar sort of idea. But you control the people who are on the job board, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So I call the strategy reverse outreach. And the reason is because it's kind of like running ads, except your prospects run ads and you just capture their information using like the Chrome extension that I talked about. And they pay for the ad spend. They pay to put themselves in front of you. And all you do is just use the Chrome extension scraper, add them to a list,
I like it, yeah.
go opt into their email list with your swipe email, and just wait and let Gmail, like the Harry Potter sorting hat, just like distribute people, primary, spam, promo, like the chosen ones. And then you literally only reach out to the people who land in spam. You can do promo as well if you want. There's more people there. But spam is a greater problem, obviously, than promo. It's a more pressing problem with higher upside if you fix it. So you can justify charging more. It's a more urgent problem to fix. Usually an easier problem to fix too. So with that specific strategy, that's why November is our absolute best time to land clients, because that's the strategy. It literally works so well during that Black Friday that we just kept doing it year round, because it actually still worked better than anything else in terms of just like cold pitching and that sort of thing. It just works twice as well during Black Friday.
Yeah, there's the urgency and there's an emotional, there's this like FOMO, right? I think the top 3%, they're either in a massive state of fear, or they're in a massive state of fear of missing out. One of those two. That like the emotion is kind of getting them to the point where they're ready to jump in to whatever it is that they're about to buy. Okay, that's interesting. So that makes a lot of sense. Now, from my perspective, I've found that maybe that's part of the reason why they're not necessarily posting as much about looking for a copywriter, or maybe that they're just like overwhelmed with their marketing. So they're going all in their business, trying to maximize the month. So you're coming in, then you're showing up on their doorstep. That makes sense. I could see how that will work. So if you don't do this, if you don't approach them and show them something that's relevant for them right now that they actually need help with, then I think you might not be getting any clients. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I've always been a fan of, when it comes to outreach, like specific, targeted, relevant outreach. That's like one hyper-targeted foot in the door approach or strategy or problem that you're solving. So it's not just like, hey, do you need a copywriter? Like that sort of generalist stuff, like I just don't think it works very well at all. I never really has, but it's like even worse now with just the sheer saturation of how many freelancers and stuff there are, right? So the way to stand out in a crowded marketplace, it's not to try and shout louder than everyone else and make bigger claims and, go crazier. Think about like Eugene Schwartz, like stages of market sophistication, right? Yeah, stage 1, stage 2, brand new market, sure. Just shout louder than everyone else and you'll win, right? But like we're well past that by now, stage 3, stage 4. So everyone is, it's very saturated. Everyone's very skeptical, been burned before and so on. So you can't just run around being like, hey, I need a copywriter, so it's like, you got to explain the mechanism, what makes you different, why should we trust you, so on and so on. And so I think having those like hyper specific, either technical expertise, like deliverability, or type of copywriting that's in high demand, just works much better, because you can go in with like a hyper targeted specific offer that they either need for sure or are highly probable to need and want. And you just have so much higher chance of getting a response, because it's just targeted and relevant.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like it. We've definitely experienced something similar in the dojo when it comes to, promo. And like we're actually quite a few copywriters. It's funny that, you found this strategy last year. A few copywriters, they messaged me and they're like, I'm just signing up to a crazy amount of email lists. And when people hit my promo or spam folder, I'm sending them a reply and I'm getting positive results with that. So it goes back to that like hyper targeted, this is something that they're particularly struggling with. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's interesting. What do you think of December though? Like you say that Q4 is really great. Do you adjust the strategy a little bit? Maybe it's like a winter holidays is the same sort of idea. Is that sort of how you see December? Because I always wonder if maybe businesses kind of slow down in December. They're like, it's winter, it's time to spend time with families, kind of calm down for the year, think a little bit about what they want to do next year. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I would say for the last week of the year, that is true. It's the kind of fuck off week of the year, like from Christmas to New Year's Eve. Like everyone just just fucks off and just like goes on holiday and spends time with family or whatever. For the most part, not everyone, but a lot of people do. It's kind of like there's like a week in August where your whole inbox is just like replies, like out of office replies. It's like, is everyone just in fucking Mykonos or what's going on? Like, is anyone home? Like, no one's here. That's kind of the same thing towards the end of December. So from around, like maybe the 20th of December. But before then, I think it's a phenomenal time to get clients. So number one, a lot of business owners are looking to make hiring. Well, firstly, before I get into that, the same two forces are still in effect. So Q4 ad inflation is still in peak, actually even way worse in December. So if you're someone who knows how to create,
why is that?
Ads,
why is it worse in December?
Well, holidays, because e-com brands are going ham on ad spend to run ads, basically for people to buy Christmas gifts, right? Same thing for Black Friday, it's people to buy shit for themselves. December, it's to buy gifts for relatives, right?
Okay.
About it, like consumerism in general just goes crazy during December, so it's like, why do you think malls start like putting up Christmas decorations like literally in October nowadays? It's wild.
Yeah,
like I'm walking in,
they're already
like,
doing it here in Japan. They've already got Christmas decorations. Yeah.
Like, it's because they want you to spend money, right? They want you to start thinking about Christmas, right? And so people spend more, and that's online and offline. So as a result of that, obviously, like e-com brands, they're going to get a higher return on their ad spend if people are actively looking to buy. So you can thank all the e-com brands for ruining it for everyone. They're the ones running all the ads. So yeah, basically that's like the main factor. So that's still in full force. And then the spam filters stay elevated throughout the holiday season, and they don't really come back down until January. So from Black Friday all the way through December, those spam filters are tightened. So those two forces are still in full effect. The other thing is a lot of business owners are looking to make hiring decisions for next year. Like not everyone waits until the whole new year, new me thing to go and like make hiring decisions and like, oh, I want to grow my business now. Like a lot of them are already thinking about that. They're thinking about next year now, either because they want to grow and scale, or they're kind of thinking, reflecting on maybe this year didn't go as well as they thought it would. And so they're like wanting to make a change. And I think that goes across a lot of industries. Like December is actually a phenomenal month for landing like coaching clients. A lot of people think it's just like, yeah, everyone just, fucks off for the holidays, and they're not in new year, new me mode until January. But a lot of people, they're kind of thinking, I want to get some things in place now, to make my life better, so I can kind of hit the ground running.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So those are my
arguments. You win. I mean, I'm kind of going to disappoint everybody here because I don't have much to say to that. I think it's spot on. I mean, everything I think it always comes down to this, Sean. I think it comes down to knowing how to take what is happening in reality and being able to construct something like a strategy or tactic, and then have a system around it, and then actually execute on it. I think that's where I think a lot of copywriters fundamentally they fall off, is that they're taking a strategy out of context, or they don't do the strategy step by step, or they don't quite know what's going on in reality. And then so it's always about how do you integrate what's actually happening with what you should do about it. And I think that's really where great coaching comes in, right? I mean, that's why I think a lot of the work that you've done over the years has always been, you've been able to get copywriters, help them get clients, because through the years, we've been working together, and, I coach a little bit, right, within CMB. I always see whenever something's happening in the industry that's relevant, you're like first to market. Okay, here's the thing that's happening. Here's here's what's happening out there. And then not only like, hey, here's what reality is, it's also like, hey, here's some ways we can approach that actually is going to get us results. And I think that's where, a lot of copywriters, they're in the dark because they're sitting there trying to figure it all out by themselves. And they're so overwhelmed by either not making enough or being burnt out by clients or like sitting on Upwork that they're not sitting back and kind of zooming out and looking at like what's happening across the industry. And also, if you're a copywriter, I don't think you have as much bandwidth to do it. I think as a coach, we both got this great data set that we can look at. I mean, I can talk to 100 copywriters, right? It's like I can see what 100 copywriters are doing. So I know, like, is this cold outreach a template or script or whatever you want to call it? Like, is that effective? For one person, they're like, I don't know, is it effective or not? Maybe I should send more. I've got 30 people that have sent that sort of script. I know, yeah, over the 3,000 messages that have been sent this way, it's not working as well as it did last year. We have data on it quicker because we can see so many different people, right? So, okay, yeah, I like it. And So yeah, you win. You
Booyah!
win. Yeah, it was easy. Yeah, I like it. So, okay, so let's talk about, the creative strategy and sort of just like what businesses are looking for these days from copywriters. Like let's say now, okay, I want to get a client during Black Friday. First of all, I need to have the skills, deliverability skills, sure. But what if I want to help on like the ads side of things? Or what if I want to get into businesses now and in 2026, close these clients now, but also keep them for 2026? What are the kind of things I need to develop as a copywriter to stay relevant?
For sure. Well, firstly, you should join my 5-day challenge that's coming up in a week.
Okay.
It's like 10 to 20 bucks. And I teach the exact reverse outreach system that
What's the date? I'll link it in the description. What's the date of it?
I am still yet to confirm, but currently
Okay, so we'll put the date in the description once you
it's
confirm it.
mid-November.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
We'll say tentatively from the 18th to the 21st.
Perfect.
18th to 20th,
Okay.
somewhere around there. Anyways, I should really lock that in. Anyway, that was kind of a shameless plug. No, so besides that, obviously the deliverability stuff, I do have free YouTube videos talking about this as well, where you can just go and learn the strategy and the script and everything that we use. So outside of that, yeah, that is definitely a contextual, like timely strategy that works much better during these 2 specific months. It is like, it still works evergreen, right? People are struggling with deliverability all the time, but it just, as you said, there's no FOMO and deadline factors that are present. So it's not as effective, but it's still effective, still very effective. Outside of that, I think ads, like I said, I've been talking to some pretty smart cats recently. Hormozy, Jeremy Haynes, Mario Castelli, pretty much everyone's like on the same page. Like, ads really are like the number 1 marketing skill you can have, especially right now. And like always, not just right now, but it's like, the ability to turn a complete stranger into a buyer, like to get literally someone who's never heard of you and just get them to give you money. That's an insanely magical skill. If you can run ads on cold traffic and profit, that's like a broken ATM.
There's nothing you
unlimited
can't
money,
do, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just print as much money as you want. Like, crazy skill. And especially now, again, I guess it comes back to the Andromeda update and all that sort of thing, where there's just so much excess need for creative compared to what there used to be, with how many ads you have to launch with. So just to get just so everyone has an idea, the number that you need to pretty much launch any campaign, if you want to put actual serious spend behind it, is about 25 to 35 ads. And they have to be unique, like completely unique, different ads, end to end, different. So what I'm not saying is like take the same 5 ads and try 3 new hooks each. Like that used to be the approach. Even in like Alex Hormozy's goated ads workbook that I got with the 200 book bundle from his $100 million thing, he's made like hundreds of millions of dollars doing ads that way. But that's kind of like the old way, right?
Interesting. That's very good.
A bunch of different hooks on the same body used to work really well because the hook's like 80%, right? Most people never watch past 3 seconds. And so if you can test a whole bunch of different hooks, for organic and for ads, like hooks are absolutely key, and they still are. But the reason why it's not just a game of hooks anymore, it comes back to what I said before about how Meta's algorithms gotten so like unbelievably powerful, like alien level technology, right? In terms of who it's able to target, because it just like it literally just knows more about you than you know about yourself. It knows exactly like every behavior habit logged for the last 10 years. Like it's like, imagine a fly on a wall has been watching you, online and offline for 10 years straight. Like it's going to know a lot about you. So anyway, because it's so good, that basically means that what we call kind of minority hooks are able to reach people that previously you might not have been able to reach. So you could have a weight loss offer and you could just have one ad that just talks to like specifically busy dads or something like that. You could talk to specifically the guy who just got dumped.
That's cool.
Girlfriend just left you, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to be shown to the guy who literally just got dumped by his girlfriend. Like that's how good Meta is now at targeting. And you don't have to set some crazy targeting setting. Like there's no targeting settings really anymore. They're removing them all. So anyway, the point is, because of how powerful it is, there's just so much more need to launch with more creative. And that means they need people to write those ads, obviously. And so those are copywriters. But also people who understand the whole game of marketing and funnels and how the algorithm works. And now I think people who can also create AI ads. So like the visual element is really important nowadays as well. Video ads pretty much always crush image ads, like for the most part.
Yeah.
In general, There's exceptions, of course.
Well, yeah,
but
because I mean, you get to give more information in less time, and you get to also satisfy like attention a lot quicker, right? Just from a like psychology standpoint. If you got an ad of a busy dad, and that's the visual, you don't have to say, "Hey, are you a busy dad?" You know, like I mean, it wouldn't really say that in the copy anyway. But like within 1 second, it's like I used to get tired playing with my son, whatever. Let's just pretend that's the hook, right? I used to get tired playing with my son, but now you have a video of the guy instantly identifying. It's like a prospect identifier, right? So much more effective in my experience as well. Video is just taken over. So being able to translate the copy into video is how businesses can differentiate themselves from just pure text. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing that I think there's two main reasons that makes AI video ads really powerful. Well, maybe three main reasons. I can probably think of way more. The three main reasons that I think make AI videos really powerful. So number one is you can just generate ads, launch ads, and test ads so much faster than you used to, because you don't have to sit down and film and hire actors or different UGC models or like avatars or things like that. You can literally just create whatever you want instantly. Like I ran from idea to like live on Meta was like 2 hours for my last campaign that I ran. And I created like 20 ads with AI and like different hooks and sort of stuff, maybe 3 hours, right? So speed, huge advantage. The other one is obviously just the creative complexity in terms of the absolute wild scenes. You can create anyone doing anything, any situation, any environment, an elephant on a roller coaster, all sorts of crazy shit, right? Just like real unhinged stuff that just grabs attention. So it's like, think about a normal talking head ad, or you have like some Miley Cyrus lookalike person talking on a roller coaster, like saying the same line. You know what I mean? It's like obviously that second one's going to get more attention, which I'm not saying you should do, because obviously that's like messaging is still very important. But just in terms of like being able to literally stop the scroll and get people to actually consume your message, right, is very important. But the third one is what we just talked about before with the avatar, right? So you can create and mirror back to the exact avatar that you want the ideal, either like the ideal person that they want to be like, so the aspirational avatar, or like the relatable avatar. So, we listen and trust and buy from people who are like us, right? So if you're selling to plumbers or something like that, you'd obviously want a plumber in the ad, because like that's who they're going to listen to and pay attention to. If you're selling to doctors, obviously you want like a guy with a lab coat. If you're selling a supplement thing, you'd probably want a guy with a lab coat because he looks trustworthy, he looks like a doctor, right? It's like why most marketers have worked this out. I'm not saying this is like revolutionary, but you can create these avatars with AI now without having to hire actors. It's like basically what I'm trying to get at here. So yeah, it's just opened the door to just like a whole new world of possibilities in terms of being able to just create way better ads and way more ads than we used to. So I think we have a tremendous first mover advantage right now with AI ads and being able to launch at scale quickly with highly contextually relevant avatars in your ads, highly contextual. I mean, even just to think about the research. So, we can now have like Perplexity, we have ChatGPT deep research, which is phenomenal as well. And you can have them do super deep dives into your exact ICP. Go scour Reddit, go find Trustpilot, like find everything my exact ideal customer target avatar is saying right now. What are their problems? What keeps them up at night? What do they want? Like in their exact words, what do they like and hate about existing solutions on the market? How can we differentiate our approach? Like what gaps do we have in our marketing compared to the things that they don't like? And we can position ourselves as being like the person who solves that or doesn't have that problem, right? So it can create like a positioning strategy, differentiation strategy for you. It can go do research on your competitors, deep dive competitor analysis. It can go do deep market research on the market as a whole in terms of like macroeconomics and like what's going on in the whole world and how people are thinking, right? Like, how you might market during the pandemic or recession might be very different to when times are good. See what I mean? So you got to take all of that into account in your marketing, not just like your own little bubble and what's going on in your world, but what's going on in the world as a whole, right? And AI, before like research, right? We know how important it is as copywriters. It's like everyone hammers on about how important it is because it's really the cornerstone of being able to talk to your avatar in a way where they feel actually understood. Like, wow, this guy's living inside my mind, and that used to be a royal pain in the ass, to be fair. It used to be just It's just a tedious process. Days of crawling through forums and like reading about people complaining and shit, and then throwing that all into like a giant Google Doc. Like if you remember like Stefan Georgi's old RMBC model, right? That's kind of like the way that we had to do it. But now with AI, literally in 30 minutes, I can have an extremely detailed report with everything I need to know about my target avatar. And I just feed that into another AI, like ChatGPT, Manus. I prefer Manus. It's like credit-based system, so it kind of works harder. And then that can write you scripts based on the research. And then you feed that and you say, cool, now create 20 viral hook ideas. And then you can even ask it to rank them and choose the one most probable to convert. You go, cool, now turn that into a Sora 2 prompt for me. Cool, and then you copy paste that into Sora 2, and then you create a video. And like all of this happens in a span of, I don't know, half an hour to an hour, maybe. And now you have a video, done. And it's like very targeted to the exact target demographic that you want to attract and sell to, all based on research. Like real time, what people are saying on the internet right now. It's crazy, dude. I could talk about this forever. I'm so excited about like,
I can see you like it. Yeah, it's cool.
That AI is like opened up for us as marketers. And I think that like the people who get everything that I just said and can, the first movers, right? We have such a crazy first mover advantage right now before every brand starts catching on, and ads are going to become very competitive once everyone's using the same tools. You know what I mean? But like if you're first to adopt these tools and deploy them, you're going to crush everyone.
Why is it that you'd crush everybody? That's something I've always been interested in, like getting a marketing first mover advantage. Is it because you scale bigger quicker so that you're already at that bigger level when the other guys enter? Is that sort of why you're going to have the advantage?
Yeah, well, I mean, so firstly, obviously, you can be first to reach the customers. Like your ads will be more probable to convert if they're backed by more in-depth research, if they're using better, more intriguing visual elements and hooks with AI, and if your ads, well, basically all of that just results in higher ROAS. And if you have higher ROAS, it means you can scale faster, quicker, and take over your market. You become more well-known. And at that point, then you've built a brand. And then once you've built a brand, then your ads just kind of work by default because everyone already knows you.
Yeah.
Think about if Alex Hormozy was to run ads for some marketing course and I was to run ads for some marketing course, who do you think is going to win? If we have the same ad and let's say pretend we have the same skills and everything and same product, obviously Alex is going to crush me because everyone knows who he is. And like, oh yeah, Alex.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like they don't even read it; they just buy it because it's Alex. You see what I mean? So
yeah, so it's like finding that attention arbitrage. It's like this is an opportunity right now where if you get in on this, it's cheaper, it's more effective, and you'll crush everybody. So you could build that brand faster than everybody else, and then you have the brand, right? And you did it affordably versus trying to do this 2 years from now. You're gonna have to try some other way to rapidly, scale to like in a way that nobody else is thinking about. I guess it's back in the day with what you call those shorts that are organic shorts. Gaji went on that train for a while, right? He jumped on the mass production of those shorts just after Tate did it, and there was a massive arbitrage there. There was a mass opportunity, and he blew up his brand. And now everybody knows Gaji. Everybody talks about him. And if he's in a video, people will watch it just because his face is in it. So yeah, that makes sense. I like it. That's a really good way to think about it. So then for copywriters, it's a really good opportunity right now to be a creative strategist because you're really making the creative process a lot easier for the business. Because I can imagine now thinking about this as like, if I'm a business owner that's running ads. So let's just say for a second, let's say I want to run ads for my own, coaching, right? So, okay, I want to run ads for my own coaching. I'm doing a lot of things already. I'm already doing fulfillment. I'm already building the product. I'm already, having this great interview. I'm already writing copy for my email list. Like I'm busy. I'm coming recording videos for YouTube. I don't necessarily have the time to go and sit there and pump out high quality 25, creatives. Maybe I can if I hustle, sure, right? But wouldn't it be great if I had somebody to actually do it for me, and like actually give it the love and attention that it really deserves, right? So I can see how a copywriter can add tremendous value in a way that's very fresh. And I think most copywriters, they jump on trends too late. Have you noticed that as well? Like I've always noticed that is like the deliverability thing was a big issue. And most copywriters like, nah, I'm just going to write 3 emails a week on a Google Doc. And then 2 years later, now it's like, oh no, now I should learn about deliverability. It's like, yeah, bro, like during that time, 5 to 10 copywriters built $1 million agencies. I mean, look at what Troy's done with what he was able to do, right? Like first mover advantage because nobody was talking about it as much back then. It's like he's the first one to market to say, hey, I'm going to get you out of promo. So this is the kind of same opportunity, right? If you take this seriously and you learn this skill right now, I mean, it's basically the same skills, just applied slightly differently, right? It's like you just use the skill, you can grow rapidly and you can help your clients grow rapidly. And then you get some results. Like, I think that's a very powerful thing. When you can actually say, I helped a business go from here to here, this rapid scale, that's the kind of brag that separates you from other copywriters. Because if you go into a business at 9 figures and you make them $2 million, I don't think people care so much. I think most business owners are like, yeah, whatever. I mean, he ran the campaign that they were going to run anyway. You know, it's nice, but it's not the same as saying, hey, we took this brand from, $2 million a year to $35 million a year. You know, like that kind of brag is very, very different.
Yeah.
And it gives you much more upside when you have negotiations with companies, because you're like, look, I actually take companies to the next level. I'm not just a guy that sits in your team as an employee. Like, I'm actually here to help you scale. Do you want to scale? Or like, do you want to just have a junior? You know, like, it's a very powerful frame for sales, right? So
Yeah, you become a growth partner, effectively. You become a catalyst for growth. And I've always been a fan of encouraging freelancers to act as problem solvers, not just order takers. It's like the number one outreach, not outreach, like the number one like client getting thing I try and hammer into every single freelancer is like, you want to think of yourself as a problem solver, not an order taker. Don't wait for someone to say, I need 3 emails. Yes, ma'am. Go write 3 emails. Here's the 3 emails. You're the same as a cashier at McDonald's. You know what I mean? It's like you're an order taker. It's like your income's always going to be capped. Versus if you're a problem solver, like you're the type of person, you're more like the doctor, right? So you go into a doctor. You don't go into a doctor and be like, hey man, can I have the XYZ drug? I mean, maybe you do, but like mostly you go because you have a problem. Normally you're like, my knee hurts. And then so he starts asking the questions and say, does it hurt when I push this, blah, blah, blah. And then he prescribes the solution, right? So it's like you go in and you actively find problems that need solving and then offer to solve them, right? And so you identify and surface an already existing need or already existing problem. You just bring awareness to a problem that they didn't know they have. And then now there's a gap between where they are, where they want to go. And then you just offer to help them close the gap. Comparatively to just waiting around until someone wants to hire you to do something. You know what I mean? Like, which one's more probable?
Yeah. Or pitching some sort of gap that they don't necessarily have, which is like, hey, do you need a copywriter? Hey, can I help you with copies?
Yeah.
So what are you going to be covering with copywriters in that 5-day challenge then?
Yeah. So it's going to be the final one that I'm going to be running. I've run this twice now, January and May this year. I literally just gave all my best client getting secrets away for $10. I don't know if I can't promise it's going to be $10 again. I'm probably going to raise the price a little bit, but like still, it's going to be ridiculously cheap for what you get. It's going to be 3 days, most likely 3 to 4 days. And like literally every single person that I've run this with, which has been about 500 people at this point over the past 2 challenges, said it was worth like 100 times what they paid, which was the whole goal behind it. So I'm super keen because we're in November now, and the same exact strategy I was teaching back in January, back in May, is now going to work twice as well as it did back then because of all the reasons we just discussed, right? Because of the whole Black Friday thing. So the strategy absolutely rips during this time. I'm really, really keen. I'm planning on this being the last one that I'm going to do because I want to move on to other things next year. And right now is obviously the best time to make it happen. So yeah, everyone said just phenomenal things about it. I try and over deliver by like 100x. And I mean, it has like a money back guarantee anyway. So if you don't like it, just ask for money back, really. Like, it's fine. Not a single person out of 500 people has been like, that wasn't worth it. So just a warning. But yeah, super excited.
Go to the link in the description. I'm gonna put it there. I wanna stand behind it and say that Sean's the man to learn client getting from. Over the years you've done a lot of stuff. I worked with you as a student at some point too, right? Back in 2020, and during those initial months there, I was doing my thing, but having you as an accountability coach and having you there and sharing your client acquisition perspectives with me and just getting me focused on it. I mean, I 3x my income during that time, from 4K to 12K a month. It was just happened to so be that I was also in CMB. So you guys joined the dots there, right? It's like something was possible there. You know what I'm saying, right? So yeah, maybe, right? Just maybe. So if you want to learn those secrets as well, then go to the link in the description. And Sean, it's always great chatting with you, man. it's really great perspective. I'm very happy with it too, because I obviously want to make more money towards the end of the year as well and help copywriters make more money. So this is much more refreshing. Let me share with my guys what we've been talking about, and hopefully the data this year is going to be positive on my end too. So yeah, thanks for your time, and chat soon, bro.
For sure. And likewise, I can't not leave without giving you the credit and recognition you deserve as well. If you guys want to learn copywriting, there's no better man to learn it from than Mr. Matthew Volkwin. He's the
Thanks,
active
bro.
coach in our program. Not a single person said a bad thing about you and your coaching. I get nonstop love and praise and validation, like after every single call you do. Just people dropping gems in the chat, like, fuck, that call with Matthew was a bomb. Like, oh man, you guys missed out. That's like every single week I just see it at my feed. I'm like, dude, I need to even I should be joining these calls, because there's so much to learn from you. You just have such a depth of experience with all types of different copy and all sorts of niches. And so I think you're one of the best active coaches out there at the minute that people can learn from.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, we will be we'll be doing some more cool stuff. We have been doing some cool stuff behind the scenes that we can't be sharing publicly, but I think both of our mentees, they've been very, very happy with what we've been up to. So yeah, join the challenge, and I'll chat with you soon, bro.
You got it, man. We'll chat soon.
Take care.